You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. Okie doke. So, we're going to do... Let's see, first of all, there are no new callers. And I don't think anybody called before the game, so we'll just get started here with Chris from Alabama.
Oh, what's going on, Ryan? Chris from Alabama, man. It's halftime of the game. Oh, man, kind of rough right now. Well, it ain't really rough, man. We just ain't executing like we need to execute. But I think we can, I think we good. I think we good. As long as we just go out and just try to go ahead and finish these drives and minimize these mistakes and stuff, we'll be dead alright, man. I don't feel nowhere like I felt last week. I know a lot of people might be feeling like, what's going on? We down by one. We should be up more. All that should be true, but I think we just come out, and do what we doing in the second half. Defense kind of stopped that run game. That Carolina is trying to control the clock on us and trying to minimize our possessions. So they have been doing a good job of that, but ain't no worries, man. We just got to come out and do what we need to do and handle our business, man. We'll be dead alright, man. We should just come out with the victory. I don't feel no sense of worry, no sense of urgency or nothing. But we do need to tighten up on these penalties. We need to cut them down, and we need to go ahead and finish these drives. The turnovers, Savion, you got to get down, man, and hold on to the football. You know what I'm saying? As far as the defense, man, just stop the run. Rico Dollar's kind of been having his way, and that's been a little bit, of them controlling the clock. So as long as we can do that. I apologize about my dog, man. I'm trying to take these dogs out at halftime. He's just acting crazy for whatever reason, because ain't nothing out here. But as long as we can control that run and get them in passing down, man, in the second half, man, we should be good, man. But, yeah, man, no worries, man. We just come out and play Packer football. That's basically it. Love looking really, really good. Couple of passes that was dropped, but it is what it is, but looking real good, man. I ain't got no complaints, man. All we got to do is just execute. That's it. And we good to go, man. But go, Pack, go. And I'll talk to y'all after the game, or I might call before the game is over, but probably after the game.
Well, you're not wrong. That's all we really needed was for at any point. And I was kind of feeling the same way at halftime. I was a little nervous, but it was one of those, like, they're going to win the game, but I'm annoyed that it's going like this. And then it just kept happening and happening and happening in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and then it was done and we lost. And it was like, what the heck was that? I thought that would be different at some point, but it never was.
I hate the NFL. God from Madison. Dude, man, I don't even care about the goddamn game anymore, Like, I don't know. Maybe they'll win, maybe they won't. But to lose Kraft, we can't have nice things, Just, that looked bad. Nah, he's done. I guess there's been miracles before, but yeah. Looks a lot like big-time knee injury, so. That fundamentally is going to change the season completely, win or lose this game, and, yeah, there's no sugarcoating that. You lose that, who is, to this point, your biggest offensive weapon. That's kind of paying for freaking championship season. Now, we were playing bad before then, but we played bad last week in the second half, and now these guys just look shell-shocked after that, and I don't blame them, because I feel sick, too. And, yeah, man, it's just, it'd be nice to pull out a victory here to, try to make, put some lipstick on an absolute pig, but, bro, I just hate the NFL. I love the Packers. I hate the NFL. I mean, I just want to barf.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where even if you win, you feel real bad. I mean, another way to put it is it's impossible to win this game. You can't win in a week where you lose a guy like Tucker Kraft. But we lost to the Panthers on top of that. So, yeah, it's a pretty disgusting feeling. Like I said, it's not even, like, I don't want to go down the road of, like, well, now we can't win or anything like that. I mean, obviously, he's a major part. The good news in the whole, like, major part thing is that he broke out to the point where everyone acknowledges one of the best, if not the best, tight end of 2025 just went down. That's the good news. The bad news is the guy's out for the year, and you hope he just comes back next year. He's as good as ever, and everything's just perfectly fine. You never know with knee injuries, obviously, but it sucks for him. It sucks for the Packers. It just sucks that, like you said, we can't have nice things. You feel like Watson's the guy, and then Watson goes down. Jordan is the guy last year, and then Jordan goes down. Tucker's the guy, and Tucker goes down. Reed is the guy, and Reed goes down. I mean, I know injuries happen. I get that. But it seems like, I don't want to call out names because that's not nice or fair, but go ahead.
Someone is at the front door.
Okay. I could go through quite a list of Packers that could be done for the year that would, let's just say, have less of an impact than the guys that of all the tight ends, Tucker. Of all the defensive tackles, Wyatt. Of all the receivers, it's Watson and Reed. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the top of every category. I mean, I guess for running back, that's not the case, at least knock on wood, but it sucks, man. It's freaking brutal.
I'll just offer this small caveat, and
all right.
Who knows, by the time this airs, what but I absolutely thought Jordan Love was done for the year, too, so.
Yeah.
Who knows, but when you see
thought.
guys' knee go the way it's not supposed to go. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, man. But hey, look, he's listed as questionable to return. But did they ever just say straight away, like, nah, he's done forever?
Right.
Or are they always questionable? I feel like they're always questionable. I don't know. Anyway, if we could stop Rico Dottle and make a goddamn play on defense right now, that'd be really good because I can't handle insult to injury. Literally insult to injury. Like, that's the 100% correct use of the term in this case if we were to lose this game, in addition to a horrific injury. So we got a lot of game left, but we gotta focus. And man, I'm sorry, I hate to complain about the refs, but like, this is pretty one-sided holding calls right now. I just saw like 3 holds on the Panthers that we've already been called for less than that. So I don't know what's going on with this crew, but they need to get their heads out of their ass. All right, peace.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten to the point where I don't want to say I don't worry about it anymore, but kind of, it just, our guys are going to get held on every play. That's just the way it goes. It is annoying, though, because like Matt LaFleur made the comment, which I said ticked me off, but Matt LaFleur made the comment of like, well, at least, as long as it goes both ways or whatever, which I disagree with. But when you start getting called for holdings, then it's like, okay, you know what? Like, you certainly can't do that. If you're not going to call anything, okay. If you're going to start calling us, then might I direct your attention to Micah Parsons getting held on every play? Just a thought, do what I don't tell you how to do your job or anything.
Well, don't worry, things have gotten a lot better. Just kidding. And I'll tell you what, Rico Dottle, I'll give this guy a lot of credit. He has gotten out one hell of a game here.
He's a good running back.
Goodness.
He just is.
But Love just lost his mind. And clearly there's some win, but bro, I'm all about giving your guy a chance. He can't throw in a triple coverage off your whatever foot. And I can't even put it all on him. I mean, the defense is just getting completely blocked up by the Panthers' offensive line, which, I don't believe is one of their strengths. I know they're good at run blocking, but it's like, holy crap. We are not getting any pressure on Young right now, and it is just wild. So I don't know if they're going to have to start blitzing here or what. There's about, 4.5 in the third here. Plenty of time, but, it's kind of weird to watch. Young's just dotting us up right now, which, to be fair, that's what he's done the last time he played us, too.
Right.
But, I mean,
should just not play Bryce
come on,
Young
guys,
anymore.
you got to get home here.
Pretty wild that Bryce Young has been one of the worst matchups we've had the last several years. Well, I mean, interestingly, the offensive line is actually one of their strengths, but they're all hurt, so there is that. Not sure if that helps or not. Trying to help, man. I'm trying to help here.
Yeah, that's Corey from Ohio.
So,
Absolute joke, dude. This game is a joke. You got Bryce Young, 50% completion percentage. He's like 8 out of 15, so just over 50 for like 80 yards in a pick. And instead of selling out to stop the run and quit letting them run all over us and make Bryce beat us, who hasn't looked very good, we're just letting him keep running all over us. And then our offense can't fucking do nothing. We can't get no pressure on them. I mean, where's Micah Parsons? Where's Rashawn Gary? Their offensive line's not even that good. We can't get no pressure. We can't stop the run. I mean, it's the Panthers. Another game where we play down to our competition. It's pathetic. We don't even deserve to win this game even if we do come back and win it. I mean, I'd take it, obviously, but it's fucking bullshit. Excuse my language. I'm fired up. This one's one of the ones that's making me the worst mad. We can't do anything right. Offense looks like trash. Jacobs is running decent. We're not using him more. You got Love throwing a deep ball into triple coverage 3 times now. Golden almost caught the one. Watson caught that, jump ball. But again, the Watson throw, perfect example. If Love would have let him, that was a walk-in touchdown. He was 5 yards behind any defender. Throws a crap pass. And then he throws into triple coverage and the ball gets picked off. This is a joke. Tucker Kraft goes out injured. All right, great. Go, Pack, go.
well, I can't help myself. I need to point out the fact that you had, I think, correctly mentioned that we're running the ball actually quite well. And instead of sticking with it, we're deciding to push the ball down the field. It is funny, though, because 90% of the fan base is convinced that we should have just completely abandoned the run and passed the whole game. But, whatever. To each their own, I suppose. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, it's frustrating. I don't know. I have nothing to add.
Hey, small victories, man. At least they missed the extra point. Not really sure why they didn't go for 2 there and try to make it a 2-score game, but hey, I'll take any positive thing happening at this point.
I suppose, and it's unfortunate because it wasn't anything we did. They acted stupid, got themselves a penalty, and then missed. It's one of those. I know Packer fans don't care about the other team, but it's one of those things where you watch the game and just think neither team wants to win this game. Neither team is playing particularly well. And if the Packers could have strung together like 5 minutes of decent play, we probably win, but they just couldn't. And then when the injuries started stacking up, again, on both sides, in fact, I think they had way more injuries than we did. It was really just like we got to get out of here, man. Like we have to stop this game. Throw in the freaking towel. It's over.
What in God's name did we just witness? Wow. That one's tough, man. That is really tough. I mean, there's a slew of things to complain about and point fingers at and do whatever. Golly, that's just stinks. It stinks. It's what elite teams are not supposed to do. And even when they do, they happen to pull it out and kind of wipe their hands clean of it and move on and then play well the next week. We've now had that happen twice with the Cleveland and now this. I hate to say it. I think we're good, but man, that's not how it goes. Maybe he should have kicked the field goal. Maybe, McManus shouldn't have missed the field goal. Maybe Savion shouldn't have fumbled. Maybe Love shouldn't have tried throwing across his body, even though there's so many things. Penalties, And the defense got a chance to stop, and then we score to try and salvage it. They get the ball with 2.5 minutes left, and our defense, they had the ball on their side of the field. All we had to do was stop them, and that's brutal, man. Just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, it's rough. The only thing I'd slightly push back on, although you are right that there is a limit to where it's okay that now this has happened too many times. I keep hearing, I know it was Tauscher had made the comment, like, this doesn't happen to good teams. And it's like, man, it's going to take me 30 seconds to find examples of this happening all the time to good teams. And even like it's the other narrative too, where it's like, I thought you'd learn your lesson. Like, what do you mean? Well, this happened in Cleveland. Yeah. I mean, is this the next week? Because if you look at the week after, they kind of learned their lesson, right? I mean, last week happened. Does that not count for learning your lesson? Or it's just like if you ever have another bad game, then you didn't learn anything from 4 weeks ago or whatever it was. Like I don't understand the thought process on that. Especially since there's no reason for me to believe that it's the same issues. There's a lot of new issues. I mean, unless we're extremely vague with what the issues are, like the offense is looking sluggish or something. Like, well, okay. But there's a lot of different reasons for that than what we saw against Cleveland. So, again, I saw somebody post something to the effect of, like, how much more of this do we have to take before, for all you LaFleur defenders, how much more of this do we have to take before we can have the conversation or whatever? And it's like, well, first of all, you have to start by explaining to me what the issue is, clearly, not vaguely. But we also have to come from the standpoint of, like, what is acceptable. Because we've lost 2 games by 6 points this season. And I don't want to hear about how it's to the bad teams because, I mean, it's a little bit of algebra. What's the missing variable in that in that statement? Well, yeah, but you keep losing to the bad teams. Well, what does that mean about who we're winning against then? So doesn't that kind of balance out? I'm sorry, I don't need to have any kind of dramatic conversation about this team because we have 2 losses, unless and until you can explain to me what exactly the issue is. Again, I'm not happy about it, but somebody needs to explain to me why what we're going through is worse than what other teams are going through. Because we have 2 losses. And as best as I can tell, I don't really see a lot of teams doing better than that. Well, they're not. First of all, let's stop pretending Carolina is one of the worst teams in football. They're not. They currently have a winning record. Yes, one of those was against us, but it doesn't matter. They got where they got, and they got there on the back of not even having their quarterback last week. So they lost their quarterback for a week and still have a winning record. So I'm sorry to tell you, that's not a bad team. That's a mediocre team. Cleveland might be a bad team, but they do have one of the best defenses in all of football. So there is a caveat there that's worth mentioning. And our defense did pretty well against them. So really it was just our offense struggled against an elite defense. Again, it's not great, but I think there are bigger catastrophes that have happened in the world. So, the bottom line is the team was good enough to win and they didn't. And that's disappointing. But that also happens, like I said, like 5 times a week in the NFL. If that didn't happen, it would be very easy to make money on sports betting. You just pick the better team. Pretty easy. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with Chris from Alabama.
What's going on, Ryan? Chris from Alabama.
What's up? Hello?
Man, that was terrible, Bo. That was terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible game. Terrible, terrible game by the offense. Can't really just say it was a bad game by the defense. Rush defense was bad, but offense, terrible. 4th and 8. 4th and 8. You go for it when you could have got 3 points. I did not agree with that call at all, but that's what you get. Your coach listened to you guys. Not necessarily nobody here, but
That was my thought when I saw that. Obviously, I always want to kick the field goal, but even in that point, my first thought was I better not hear anybody complain about that from the Matt LaFleur isn't aggressive crowd, which I'm still seeing people tweet out Matt LaFleur plays to not lose. Is that what going for it on 4th and 8 is, you dummy? You're just saying stuff to say stuff. Like, there's all these bumper sticker cliches about Matt LaFleur that we just throw out there, whether that applies or not. But even beyond that, you're looking at it and you're thinking, okay, well, their offense isn't doing much, so if we turn it over, they're pinned all the way back here. 3 points, I think we were down by, what was it? I want to say it was like 7 or something, so 3 doesn't really move the needle all that much. It was to the point where another field goal doesn't really get you where you need to be. So it was one of those, like, really, you're going to go for it? And then I thought about it for a half second. I was like, I guess it does make sense. But, of course, all the guys that always want you to go for it, that are going to tell you about all the analytics and whatnot, when he goes for it, probably when he's supposed to, and they don't convert it, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I wouldn't. Come on, man. I'm not entertaining that nonsense.
He listening to the whispers. Oh, he's not aggressive enough. He's not aggressive enough. See where that got you? 4th and 8, that was a terrible call. Terrible call. They should have kicked and got 3 points out of that. And who knows if we go down and that Jacob score, that's up 3 instead of tie ball game. So, hey.
And that is generally why I always want to kick and always want to take the points, unless we're out of time and down by a ton. I always want to take the points because, I mean, you could, if you come back and get a touchdown next time, now you take the lead. It's just, you don't know how things are going to unfold down the line. But again, I'm always in the minority. But now everybody wants to take my side. Like, no, get out, go away. That's him doing what you want. And it didn't work. So now I want you to shut up about it. You own that now.
And offense played bad. Offense was bad. This was a bad loss. This 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 1 for 5 in the red zone is just, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable at all. Like, this loss here, another bad loss. I mean, as of right now, Detroit is losing by 10, so we might still be on top of the North as of right now. But all in all, with Philadelphia coming in this week and we play like this, I mean, Carolina's not a slouch, but at the same time, that game was there for the taking, man. Like 102 yards from Bryce Young, like, come on, man. Like, he wasn't throwing the ball at all. It was just running the football on us. It was like a flashback to 2-3 years ago. Like, everybody's just running the football on us. Like, it just was ridiculous, man. It was a bad loss. Bad loss, man. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it was just a bad loss. I really did not feel like the game was going to go like this at halftime. Like, I just felt like we had a couple opportunities that we blew and didn't take advantage of, and we were going to correct that. But obviously, I was mistaken. So, 5-2-1. Still on top of the North as of right now, depending on how this game goes with the rest of the game go with Minnesota and Detroit. And, I mean, it's a bad loss. Let's make some adjustments and do what we got to do. Definitely need to do something before next week because we got a quality opponent coming in. But, yeah, just terrible, man. Just terrible, man. Go Pack, go, and I'll talk to y'all later, man. Just an awful loss.
Yeah, and that's all you can do. And, I mean, again, I know nobody wants to hear it, like, immediately after the game. But I said it last week, and I can probably say it again this week. We're not going to get through the rest of the year without another ugly loss. It's not going to happen. Now, I mean, if it happens too many times, then we miss the playoffs, and that's a much more serious problem. But we're going to have more than 2 losses this season. And it's probably not only going to be to mega elite super teams, which, of course, even if it is, that's still not acceptable to anybody because then, you can't beat any of the good teams. There's no good loss. There's only bad losses. Well, I would have felt better if they actually tried. Would you? You would have felt better if that was 100% and they still lost to the Panthers? That would make me feel a lot worse because that means you just suck. So what does that leave us with? I mean, again, I'm not trying to get you to accept that this is a good thing. I'm just trying to get you to accept that this is a thing that we're going to endure every year. It doesn't matter who the coach is. It doesn't matter what team you root for. It's going to happen every year. You're going to go into a game as favorites, and I'm not talking just 2-point favorites, as relatively big favorites, although I don't understand why we were such big favorites in those games. It always felt way too big to me. Crazy. But as big favorites, and then lose. Unless you can think of a time that didn't happen. If you remember being a Packers fan at any point, under any coach, with any quarterback, where things like this never happened, I don't remember that. Can you think of a team? I mean, obviously, you can think of like undefeated teams, or teams with like 1 or 2 losses that probably were to only the good teams and then went on to win a Super Bowl or whatever. Super rare exceptions, and I promise you, if you move forward or back a year, you're going to find that game I'm describing. I don't think there's any team this year already. I think that's out the window. So, yeah, I mean, it you can't keep doing it. You can't do it too many times or you're going to be out of the playoffs, and you can't do this come week 18, 19, whatever, 20, ideally. Oh, and now we got Nate Hobbs is going to miss at least the next 2 games with a grade 1 sprain of his MCL. All right, well, there you go. Regardless of how you feel about Nate Hobbs, I mean, that's not going to help anything. That was a brutal game. I'm glad we didn't lose Watson, at least as far as I can tell we didn't lose Watson. I mean, he went back on the field, but... Ay, what a game, what a game. Arles, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Ryan? It's Arles. Hey, so game just ended. Packers lost. Don't even feel bad for him, man. This is one of those losses where they just found a way to beat themselves again.
Yeah.
You know, first half penalties on the offense were just endless. Just disrupting the drives, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I think, Strahan said it best, we're playing with our food. Second half, I would have thought that LaFleur would have learned, to maybe use the tempo and short pass game to supplement the ineffective running game. But no, we get out there in the third half and we're running the ball and we're not really, it's just not that effective, right? What else? And we had the injuries, but the injuries aren't why we lost that game. We still could have won that game. I just feel that it was a combination. Lots of turnover battle, too many run plays. By the time we decided to go short pass and tempo, I mean, it was the midway through the fourth quarter, right? And then bad decisions by J Love, just bad decisions by J Love. That Brett Favre that Brett Favre special into triple coverage. I think he had about 2 or 3 passes in triple coverage. But anyhow, I sit here not feeling bad for the Packers, just more upset that, they keep playing down to the competition. They play up for the Steelers and then I think you said it, in one of your shows, it was yesterday or the day before, the Panthers aren't a bad team. They got a run game. They can get up and down the field. They just have a hard time scoring. And that's exactly what they did here. They maintained possession. They dominated the clock. They got up and down the field. Only today they were able to get in that end zone. And we weren't. I don't know what our game plan was, but I'm assuming that we didn't see it. So now I'm watching the freaking Lions get their butts kicked by the Vikings. And, I mean, that's great that they're losing, but it would have been good to get one more game up on the Lions. But anyhow, that's all I have to say for now. I'll let you be. I know you got a lot of calls coming in, so we'll talk soon. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope they play up to their competition next week. That whole narrative there that they, meet their competition, I guess. Let's hope so, because obviously the level of play against the Panthers, you do that against Eagles, it's going to look pretty ugly. So fingers crossed that they hold up their end of the bargain. That thing we always complain about? Actually, if you could do that this week, that'd be super. But, whatever, man. I mean, we that's the one thing I have to keep reminding myself about this week, and I talked about it before in terms of something that I'm annoyed by, but if the Packers beat the Eagles, all this is in the rearview mirror. Nobody's really, I shouldn't say nobody, but it's most of this is going to be forgotten about. It's going to be, you know, with the exception of I don't know that I trust them. It's going to be, okay, this is the team we needed to see. This is the team that, okay, yeah, and we're right back on track. We just can't get the crap beat out of us by the Eagles, because at that point, you know, it's just a very uncomfortable conversation and another bad week. But just got to frickin' grin and bear it, man. Got a bad week ahead of us. That's all there is to it. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back. We got more Chris from Alabama.
Chris from Alabama again, man. I just want to add this before everybody start calling for Matt LaFleur's job on this one. Yeah, that was a bad play call on fourth down. I feel like with 11 minutes left in the game, and you're inside the 20, and you have a 4th and 8, you should kick the field goal. But before everybody get all out of pocket again, talking about LaFleur need to be fired and all this old other shit, it was a bad loss. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say the S word. But before everybody get to calling for the man job and everything, like let's just please calm down with that. It was a bad call. It was absolutely a bad call. You should have kicked the field goal. I don't care what the analytics say or none of that. 11 minutes left in the game, in a ball game that's this tight, and you're barely getting anything on the offensive side. Any points matters. As you can tell, there's 3 points mattered. I mean, you can say, well, we kick the field goal, does it go like that or whatever, whatnot. It is what it is. Bottom line is, them 3 points mattered. So they should have kicked that field goal, but all this calling for the job and overreacting about Jordan Love being bad or Matt LaFleur need to be fired and all this old over-exaggerating that us Packer fans tend to do at times. And please don't do it. Come on, guys. Like, it was a bad loss, and you're 5-2-1. We still in good shape, and we still got time to get back on the horse and get our stuff together and go ahead and ride the rest of this season out. But I just wanted to add that because I can just feel the momentum, and I just turned on like the press conference, waiting on the press conference, and then the first 5 things in the chat is like, fire Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur should be fired. I'm just like, oh, bro, here we go again. It just annoys me. It really annoys me. So let's not go there with that. Yeah, it was a bad call, but at the end of the day, bro, we got a good football coach. He just made a bad call, as though Andy Reid does, as well as Nick Sirianni and whoever else you want to deem a good coach, a very good coach in this league does from time to time. So that's all I wanted to add in on that. Once again, disappointing in the loss, but let's not go overboard with the firing of Matt LaFleur and all this, and he needs to give up the play calling and all of this deal that we usually do. But go Pack, go, and I'll talk to y'all later.
I'm glad you brought up Jordan, because that's kind of how I feel about a lot of the Matt LaFleur stuff, is that it reminds me of if somebody were to, or as Bears fans are, they're pointing out that they're looking at those throws and saying, see, he's not it. And it's like, look, man, I'm not saying that was a good throw. I'm not saying I'm happy about it. I'm not saying that's acceptable. But do we need to cut Jordan Love? Do we need a new quarterback? Do we need to panic and do all that kind of crazy stuff because of that? Like, can we look at the fuller context? And then people start making stuff up and, well, he's not reliable and he throws too many interceptions and all this stuff. It's like, it's his 3rd interception. Like, again, I'm not saying it's okay. But stop making stuff up. Stop exaggerating. And that's kind of, I mean, Matt LaFleur is the whipping boy. If the fan base didn't like Jordan Love would be the one taking all the blame. He'd be the one, we need a new quarterback and all that stuff, if that was the case in this game. But instead, it's because it's Matt LaFleur and people don't like him. And people think that he's the problem. So if we have a bad game, of course he's going to get the blame for it. And that's why I've been saying, like, I'm open to it, because I think it's certainly possible. I don't want to just say I don't believe it without having any real reason for having faith in him. I mean, I do have reason, but I mean, it's mostly old data. But I just, you know, it's why I don't trust it, because it would be like, and I bring it up as an example because most Packer fans are fans of Jordan Love. It would be like when people who hate Jordan Love point out Jordan Love did something bad and then blame him for the loss and all that stuff, and you kind of just roll your eyes like, whatever, bro. Like, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe he's not the answer. I don't know. But I'm not listening to this from you. I'm just not interested. So that's what I said. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is what it feels like to me with all the Matt LaFleur stuff. I mean, it's like it's bad enough I have to endure this loss and everything that comes with it. But now I got to listen to like Matt LaFleur stuff 24/7. And at the end of the day, like, look, that's something we're going to be talking about next year more so than anything. Matt LaFleur is going to be our coach this year. I don't even know that anybody's calling for him to be fired this year. If you are, you're wrong. And if you're not, then why don't we table that conversation, because I'm tired of having that talk. Why don't we see how the year goes, and then we can talk about it in the off season? In the meantime, put all your notes together. Put out a little criteria for what you expect from a head coach. Make sure it's a realistic one. Maybe backtrack a little bit. Go back and see how many coaches meet that criteria, just to make sure it's a reasonable one. But we'll talk about it later. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm bored with it.
Jingle bells.
Batman smells.
Yes. Packers laid an egg. That is exactly what happened today. The Packers laid an absolute egg of a game against the Carolina Panthers. And it was incredibly frustrating to watch the entire time. There were so many moments where you thought that they were going to get a score, and then just some unimaginable.
Well, and it was one of those really inefficient games too. It wasn't just, I mean, I've been painting it as like nothing was going right. That's not entirely true. A lot of stuff was going, I mean, they couldn't pass the ball against us like at all. Not saying that's the entire picture, but I'm pointing out that it wasn't all bad. Also, our offense on several occasions actually moved the ball kind of with ease, you know, that first drive, but then there was a fumble, right? And then we move it with ease again, and we get to fourth down and decide to go for it and don't get it. You know, it's one of those things where we're just inefficient. We're good most of the time, but not at the right times. And that's the kind of stuff that'll kill you. So, I mean, it was a little bit of just suck everywhere, but it was also a suck everywhere. And even when we don't suck, we can't do those good things when it needs to be done. You know, and that's, I don't know. I don't want to say it's just one of those things that happens. I mean, you have to be good at those things. That's what makes you a good team. Isn't just raw horsepower, it's efficiency. But I think generally they have been pretty good at that, so I don't want to act like, well, this is how they are all season. It's not really the case. But it is something you got to watch out for. It is something that needs to be worked on and thought about and you know, whatever. Part two?
Okay. I wouldn't pin the loss squarely on the defense. They definitely didn't play elite,
right,
in my opinion, but they did play well enough to keep them from scoring too much. So I think I'm going to give the defense like a B- on the day. Obviously, the injury to Tucker Kraft was devastating.
Yes.
But I'm going to probably pin the loss mostly on the offensive line. And I'm wondering if you agree with me or if you have something else that stuck out to you more. Because they were, like, when Jordan was able to, like, make a play, he made a lot of great throws.
Yeah.
And the receivers made a lot of great catches. But he had pressure in his face way too often. And, I mean, it just it just didn't allow the offense to gel. And I think a lot of the plays that Jordan Love and his receivers and tight ends and running backs, whatever, made were sort of these like really tight coverage plays because the plays didn't have enough time to develop, and the Carolina defense was kind of smothering them. And, but I will say, I didn't realize Carolina was 4-4 and now 5-4. So, in a lot of ways, like, I think the Carolina Panthers are better than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
I thought it would be kind of like a walk in the park. But
well, and I think that's for a lot of us, because just 2024, I mean, they were a complete joke. They're not a great team right now, but they are an above 500 team with, again, that's with them missing their quarterback for a week. And they're a significantly improved team by far. I can't say most improved because look at the Colts, but they're a significantly improved team. They're in the category with, teams like the Giants and things like that, where you think about them in terms of last year and you're going to be mistaken big time.
Actually have some really good players, like Rico Dowdle is a good running
and
back.
he burst onto the scene in a big way.
So that's not like a fluke. They do have a couple of speedy receivers. Bryce Young has a lot of talent. I don't know how he's been doing overall, but he made some nice plays. He escaped some pressures, made some improvised plays happen. So I don't know. I mean, I can't be. I'm not even going to rob Carolina of the credit because I think they played better than the Packers did today. Absolutely. I don't know why they played better because the Packers are by far a more stacked team. I don't know if they're just coming down from last week's win against Pittsburgh, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they have to start playing up to their ability, and we know that, right? I mean, we are getting to that point where we need to start seeing it. I don't think we need to panic the way a lot of people are panicking, but I mean, it's another week that went by where we're still not seeing the product that we need to see on the field. And, losing Tucker is going to add to that frustration significantly because in our minds, our ability to get to that point is very limited. Plus, most Packer fans, I think, are at max frustration because they feel like Matt LaFleur is the problem. Therefore, they have no hope. Why would I have hope when I believe that the solution to the problem is not going to come to us? I mean, we're not hiring a new great replacement this year. And so that's where a lot of the frustration, I think, is coming from. So, I mean, as far as the offensive line goes, first of all, I did look at the stats. It's kind of yes and no. First of all, he was pressured, I think, 27% of the time, which is relatively low. However, several caveats. Number one, some of those pressures were really, really ugly. I mean, it's one thing to have a pressure after like 3 seconds. It's another when it's just an instant pressure that a guy just didn't get picked up. And it was getting really tiring watching that happen. In addition to that, we have to remember this is arguably the worst pass rush in football. So 27% is relatively low, but it should be low. It's supposed to be low. So, yeah, I mean, part of that falls on Jordan as well. Some of it, I don't know what really you can do. But, I mean, he was really terrible. He was kind of getting into, like, panic mode a little bit when it was under pressure. But also, yeah, the offensive line, I saw somebody just recently, I was just kind of perusing. Orlovsky was talking about he's kind of pinning a lot of this on the offensive line. And the offensive line has been a problem. I'm encouraged a little bit. Talk about it a little bit on tomorrow's podcast. But, Aaron Banks seems to be improving, although he went out injured. Rasheed Walker at left tackle seems to be kind of getting back into his own. Elton is not elite Elton that I think we were hoping at center, but he's at least kind of leveling out, I think. So, there's some encouragement that if we can just stay healthy, this offensive line can kind of balance out to at least being a solid enough pass blocking offensive line. I don't know that there's anything there to believe they'll be able to run block, but we just got to take it freaking a week at a time, man. I don't know, but I will say I agree that offensive line has been a bigger frustration this year than I can remember almost ever-ish. The past, I mean, we're always a pretty bad run blocking team. This is like there is just nothing there. I mean, when there's a hole for like Josh Jacobs to run through, and there were a couple in this game. It's better than what we've been seeing. But I mean, if you see him run through a hole, it's staggering. Like, holy cow, he actually had somewhere to go. We've had entire games where there's just nowhere to go. So, and then you look at it and say this is one of the worst pass blocking lines I feel like we've watched since like 2018-ish or something. That definitely needs to improve. Part of the issue, you blame Matt LaFleur for the play calling and whatnot. Maybe, I don't know, but I will say this. If you can't run the ball, every play caller is going to struggle, right? Anytime you can't execute a bunch, especially Matt LaFleur's style of offense, the Shanahan, whatever, because everything's kind of based off of everything else. It's all like magic tricks. It's watch this hand over here while this hand does something else. Well, if you can't run the ball, then you can't really set anything up in the future. So I think it's a struggle right now to figure out, how do we unfurl this play? But, the fans always want just pick the 3 plays that work and just spam them over and over and over and over and over again, which is not going to work. But the frustration level people have when they see us run a play that usually doesn't work, it's like, bro, you have to run stuff sometimes. You can't just run like that one play that you like. Like, just bomb it to Watson all day long. Like, I don't think it'll work. I don't know. You could try it. I don't think it's going to work. But, again, it's, again, we'll bring it back to LaFleur here for a second. It's possible that the league has kind of passed him up. It's possible that people have kind of figured him out. The discussion I'm not willing to have is that he's never been a good player. That's not true. And so my hope is that the guy who has historically been a good play caller, along with a roster that has enough talent on it to be successful, will be able to make this work. Maybe they won't. Maybe the level of inconsistency we have among players, maybe the youth we have among players, maybe the inability by Matt LaFleur to kind of keep pace with the current NFL, whatever the issues may be, maybe they are insurmountable and we're going to have to kind of look in a different direction. But in the meantime, that's not really a discussion that's super interesting. It's certainly not something I want to dwell on for the next several months. So let's hope that the guy that has historically been a very good play caller, along with Jordan, who's playing at a fairly high level, again, not his best game, but aside from those 2 throws, I thought he did actually have a pretty nice game. There are improvements. Again, we'll talk about a few of those on tomorrow's podcast. Just got to come together, One final thing here, and this has been a suspicion of mine. I think I've mentioned it, but I'm not positive. Easton Butler has been kind of hinting at something, and it always seemed to me that what he was hinting at was Asante Samuel. I think we kind of got confirmation of that. Free agent cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., this is via Jeremy Fowler, spine injury, cleared to play, talking with several teams, and could take visits this week. Easton Butler tweeted out, I can confirm Green Bay is, all caps, very interested and will plan a workout. Considering we just saw that we lost a starting corner, I would not be surprised even in the slightest if the Packers were interested in pursuing Asante Samuel, especially with Easton Butler claiming that they're very interested in him. I will say, again, I don't want... I guess an infusion of happiness from this fan base would be nice. But we always have to temper our expectations. Asante Samuel, if nothing else, obviously has some injury concerns. He's a smaller guy at 5'10", 180. He's already got a string of injuries. Generally, the Packers don't like that. We just got out of a situation with a guy like that, with Jair, a smaller guy that has injury stuff, and you kind of expect that to continue. And there's also a really, I mean, you could be encouraged, but it's a relatively small sample size. So in 2021, he was a second-round pick, which is great, out of Florida State. He did not have a very good rookie year. He had a 56 grade, 57 coverage grade, which, I mean, I guess is not terrible when you're talking about roughly average, but it's not super great. Breakout year 2, 73 grade, 76 coverage grade. Then year 3, 74 and 76. That's solid. I mean, if he's able to go to a team and do that today, he is a maybe top 10 corner. The issue comes in 2024. He got off to seemingly a pretty rough start and then got hurt and has been out for now, a year, over a year, whatever. So, I'm not going to be opposed to it. I hope if something happens, it's not a massively costly situation. I can't imagine it would be, but as always, please temper expectations. One of the reasons everybody gets so angry when bad things happen is because we set expectations way too high. And I tried so hard to temper that coming into Carolina. We were getting ourselves in a situation where even if we won that game, if it wasn't by 20, people were going to be upset. And we lost the game, and now people are losing their ever-loving minds. The other issue with stuff like this is, I know what's going to happen if we were to get Asante Samuel. So many people are going to be pumping out really flattering stats to kind of overinflate how amazing this is. This is what always happens. Oh, he's so amazing, all this stuff. Again, I'm not opposed. It's worth a look. But let's just calm down. I would take him over Cam Ward. How about that? All right. With that, I don't... Possibly some news is coming. I mean, every time I scroll, I'm seeing more news here. There's the Nate Hobbs thing, the Samuel thing. Probably the most accurate thing, and we'll end on this. Eli Berkowitz says, Nate Hobbs is going to miss some time, and Asante Samuel is just cleared to play football again. Make the people happy and just do it. That's ultimately what it comes down to. It'll make a very unhappy fan base smile. Is that a good reason? Probably not, but you know what? You know what's probably going to happen? Somebody else is going to get him for like a bag of peanuts, and then the fan base is really going to spiral. Anyways, folks, take care of yourselves. Go through your post-loss rituals to get your mental stability back on track. And we will continue this thing tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.